everyone, and welcome to this month's installment of My Favorite Things Design Team Creative Chat. This month, I'm taking you on a tour of my stamping desk and showing you my favorite go-to tools. Here's a quick look at my desk, and I'll explain everything on it throughout the video. The first thing I'm going to talk about, and the most used tool on my desk, would have to be my Copic markers. I have quite the collection. You can see my color chart over to the left. I have it printed on the cardstock that I normally color on, which is Stamper Select white cardstock. It's crucial to have on hand so you can color match your cardstocks and pattern papers to the images that you're coloring. I'll post a link below where you can go to print off your own Copic color chart. I organize my markers in an X cube, which I purchased at either Office Max or Office Depot. I'm not sure which. I bought 4 and hooked them together, and they run about $10 each. I love having all the different compartments so I can organize my markers by color type. Also on my desk is a Pampered Chef tool turnabout filled with my Prismacolor pencil collection. I use these less frequently and keep them off to the left. Sitting directly in front of me on a table is my little 19-inch flat screen TV with a built-in DVD player. While it's not a stamping tool, it's definitely a tool that I use every time I stamp. I love watching romantic comedies and all sorts of other movies. I've built up quite the collection. I stick a movie in, put my headphones in to drown out any noise around me, and just get busy. I always keep this organizer on my desk for my most used brads. I have small brads in black, pewter, silver, and 3 different sizes of aged copper. I always have extra of these brads on hand and refill it as necessary. It's about time. I buy my brads in normal sized packages from Michaels or Hobby Lobby when they're on sale. Then I empty them into baggies, and when my organizer runs low, I just refill it. I always have a Memento Tuxedo Black and Brilliance Graphite Black pad on my desk. I use Memento primarily for stamping images, which I'm going to color with my Copic markers. Brilliance I tend to lean on for sentiments over pattern paper and sentiments in general. I like to keep an assortment of acrylic mounts on my desk. These are my favorite from Apple Pie Memories. I love the finger grips all around, and they have etched lines in for lining up sentiments and things. Next up is one of my newest tools, and I'm so shocked that I've lived this long without it. It was a gift from Arlene, and this is the SureBonder fine-tipped glue gun. It has an on-off switch, and I love it for adhering heavy embellishments and preparing rolled flowers for use on my cards. This is another Pampered Chef tool turnabout that sits on my desk, and it holds lots of my smaller, frequently used tools. Right after I took this picture, I removed lots of things from it because it was getting very crowded. Here are my most used tools from my tool turnabout. First, we have the paper piercer. I use it from everything from piercing holes to removing liners on adhesive. I use it all the time. Next up, we have a quilling tool, which I use for all of my favorite things rolled flowers. Next up, I believe, is some sort of dental tool, and I use it to help me move things around, scrape glue off, things like that. Pencil and pen seems obvious, but I really do use those all the time. The next tool I'll talk a little bit more about in a different clip, but it's my Teflon bone folder. And then I use 3 pairs of scissors, 1 for ribbon, 1 all-purpose, and 1 to cut adhesives. Another thing I use regularly is my centering ruler that I purchased at Michaels for about $3. It really helps to place things with precision. The next tool I have to tell you about is my Teflon bone folder. Believe it or not, this little tool is $17.99. I purchased mine from Ellen Hudson. It's an amazing tool, it's weighted very nicely, and it does not make those shiny marks on your cardstock when creasing. I love it. Directly to the right of my desk, I have a shelving unit that holds lots of things that I use quite frequently. Anything from scrap paper to my sewing machine to adhesives. And I'll go into that a little bit more. I use the Fiskars 12-inch Premium Cut Line Portable Trimmer. I love it because there's a wire that tells you where your blade is going to cut. It's 12 inches with a 6-inch base, so I hardly ever need to swing out the arm. And the number grid is printed from underneath, so it'll never wear off. Most paper trimmers have a scoring blade you can use, but I really prefer to use my Score Buddy. It's very small, I keep it to the right of my desk. Primarily I use it just to crease my card for my card bases, and that's it, but I really love it. These are two tools I keep plugged in next to my desk, ready for use. One is my Marvy Heat tool for heat setting Brilliance ink and embossing powder. The other I use to adhere Hot Fix Swarovski crystals, which I love. This by far has to be my most favorite tool in my stamp room, and it's my Janome So Mini. I bought it for $40 on sale from Hancock Fabric, and I've been using it for years without incident. This machine only weighs about 5 pounds, so I can pick it up with one hand, put it in front of me on my stamp surface, sew, and put it away without having to set up anything ever. This drawer holds several of my necessities, including blade refills, Eclipse masking tape, sanding blocks, and basic gray sanding tools, which I use on the edges of my cardstock or pattern paper when they get fuzzy. These are my go-to adhesives. I use a variety of sizes of red line dimensional dots, sticky dots, and red line tape. Here are some more adhesives I use regularly. There are refills for my glue gun, mono adhesive, individual glue dots, and some other sizes of dimensional dots. You'll notice I made my own dividers to keep my adhesives nice and tidy. You can tell by this picture that I use my piercing mat a lot. I need a new one, but I cannot find another one just like this. If you know where I can, let me know. I've built up quite the stash of acrylic blocks. I like having a variety for different stamps and sizes. I have poor lighting in my stamp room, so OttLights are an absolute necessity for me. I have 5 positioned throughout my room, but I have 2 on my desk, one on top of my Copic markers and one to the left of where I sit. Here's one final look at my stamp space. It's nice and clean now, but rest assured it normally does not look like this. Within 30 minutes of taking this picture, it was a complete disaster area again. Thanks for coming along for my tour.